Dr. Daeho Kim stared at his computer screen in the quiet control room of Kepler Station. The numbers made no sense. For 3 days straight, every alien signal they had been tracking had simply stopped. No radio waves. No strange energy patterns. Nothing at all. He rubbed his tired eyes and checked the equipment again. All the machines were working fine. The big dish antennas outside the station were pointing in the right directions. The computers were recording data like they always did, but the data showed only empty space where busy alien chatter used to be. Daeho had worked at Kepler Station for 8 years. The deep space research facility sat far from Earth, beyond the orbit of Neptune. Its job was simple: listen to the galaxy and try to understand what was out there. Every day, his team recorded hundreds of different signals from across space. Some were clearly alien languages. Others were strange energy bursts that no human could explain. The galaxy was a noisy place, full of life and activity. Until 3 days ago. Daeho picked up his coffee mug and walked to the big window that looked out into space. Stars filled the black sky like tiny diamonds. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations had been talking to each other for thousands of years. Now they had all gone silent at exactly the same time. The door to the control room slid open with a soft hiss. Commander So-Young Park walked in, her military uniform neat and clean despite the long journey from Earth. She was in charge of the UES Horizon, one of humanity's newest deep spaceships. Her face looked worried. "Dr. Kim," she said, "I need to know what you've found." Daeho set down his coffee and turned to face her. "The same thing I told Earth Command yesterday. The galaxy has gone quiet. Every signal we were tracking just stopped." So-Young moved closer to look at his screens. "All of them? Every single one?" "Every single one," Daeho confirmed. "We were tracking over 400 different signal sources across the galaxy. Trade communications, exploration signals, even what looked like entertainment broadcasts. They all went silent at the same time, down to the minute." "When exactly?" Daeho pulled up a timeline on his computer. 3 days ago, at 14:32 Universal Time. That's when the last alien signal was recorded. So-Young's eyes went wide. She knew that. Time stamp. Every military officer in the solar system knew it. That was exactly when humanity had fired its first railgun. The Railgun test had been top secret, conducted on the far side of Earth's moon. Only a few hundred people knew about the Thunderstrike project. The weapon used powerful magnetic fields to fire metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The test shot had hit a target asteroid with perfect accuracy. "Commander," Daeho said, noticing her expression, "do you know something about this timing?" So-Young was quiet for a moment. Military secrets were hard to share, even with trusted scientists. But the silence of an entire galaxy seemed more important than keeping secrets. "We tested a new weapon system at that exact time," she said finally. "A railgun. It was supposed to be a simple test." Daeho felt a chill run down his back. "You think firing the railgun caused this?" "I don't know, but the timing is too perfect to ignore." Before Daeho could respond, his computer started beeping. New data was coming in from the deep space sensors. But this wasn't the usual alien chatter they had been missing. This was something different. "What is it?" So-Young asked. Daeho's fingers moved quickly across his keyboard, pulling up the new information. "It's not communication signals. It's something else. Ancient monitoring stations are turning on." The data showed energy signatures from dozens of locations across nearby star systems. These weren't new signals. They were old, very old. Some of the technology looked like it had been sleeping for thousands of years. "Monitoring stations?" So-Young asked. "Look at this," Daeho said, pointing to his screen. "These energy patterns are coming from places we thought were empty space or dead planets. But they're not random. They're all pointing toward our solar system. So Young felt her heart beat faster. They're watching us? It looks that way. Whatever we woke up when we fired that railgun, it's been out there for a very long time. Dae-ho continued working with the data. The more he learned, the more worried he became. And monitoring stations weren't just turning on randomly. They were connecting to each other, forming some kind of network across space. Commander, I think we need to contact Earth immediately, he said. This isn't just about lost alien signals anymore. Something big is happening, and it's all connected to that railgun test. So Young nodded. I'll get my communications officer, Bao Ra Choi, to set up a priority channel to Earth Command. How long do you think we have? Have for what? Before whatever's out there decides to respond. Dae-ho looked back at his screens, watching as more ancient stations came online across the galaxy. The network was growing stronger by the hour. Somewhere in the dark spaces between stars, things that had been sleeping were waking up. I don't know, he said quietly. But I don't think we're alone anymore. And I don't think we ever were. The coffee in Dae-ho's mug had gone cold, but he didn't notice. Outside the window, the stars looked the same as always. But now he knew that some of those points of light weren't stars at all. They were watchers, and they had been waiting for humanity to take its first step into a much larger and more dangerous universe. The galaxy had gone quiet, but the silence wasn't empty. It was full of attention, all of it focused on the small blue planet where humans had just announced their arrival in the most dramatic way possible. 3 weeks had passed since the galaxy went silent, and Jin Woo Han was getting tired of digging in the red dirt of Mars. The xenorchaeologist had been studying the strange rock formations in the Val Z Marineris Canyon for months. But today, something was different. His scanning equipment was picking up energy readings from deep inside, what everyone thought were natural stone pillars. The readings were weak but steady, like a heartbeat that had been sleeping for thousands of years. This doesn't make sense, Jinwoo said to his research partner, Dr. Yeon-soo Kim, who was working at a nearby site. These formations are supposed to be millions of years old, but I'm getting active energy signatures. Yeon-soo looked up from her own dig site, brushing dust off her environmental suit. Active how? Like there's technology inside the rock. But that's impossible. These pillars were here long before humans even existed. Jinwoo's scanner started beeping faster. The energy inside the pillar was getting stronger. He moved closer to the tall stone structure, holding his scanner up to different spots on its surface. The readings were strongest near what looked like natural cracks in the rock. Yeon-soo, come look at this, he called. She walked over, carrying her own equipment. When she ran her scanner over the same area, her eyes went wide. That's not natural rock formation. Look at these patterns. The cracks in the stone weren't random. They formed perfect geometric shapes, too precise to be made by wind or weather. The two scientists looked at each other with growing excitement and fear. We need to call this in, Yeon-soo said. Back on Earth, the United Earth Assembly was dealing with bigger problems. Ships from across human space were reporting the same thing. Ancient structures on planets and moons were suddenly showing signs of activity. What had seemed like natural formations or old ruins were revealing themselves to be something else entirely. Ambassador Hai Jin Lem sat in the emergency session, listening to reports from dozens of worlds. The evidence was clear and terrifying. Humanity had been watched for a very long time. The structures on Mars, Europa, Titan, and 15 other locations, all activated at the same time, reported General Miran Kong from military intelligence. 3 weeks ago, at exactly 14:32 Universal Time. The same time as the railgun test, Haijin said quietly. Yes, whatever these monitoring stations are, they've been recording human development for decades, maybe centuries. The session was interrupted when the assembly's main screen flickered to life. A new signal was coming in from space, but this one was different from anything humans had ever received. It was clearly artificial, clearly intelligent, and clearly meant for them. The signal resolved into an image of a being unlike anything humans had ever seen. It was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. When it spoke, the words came through perfect translation software. People of Earth. The being said, I am Ambassador Kothaler of the Kethmori Peacekeeping Council. We have been watching your species develop for 50,000 of your years. It is time we spoke. The assembly hall fell completely silent. First contact with an alien species was happening live in front of the entire human government. Your recent test of reality manipulation technology has triggered protocols that have kept the galaxy at peace for millions of years. We must meet to discuss what happens next. The transmission ended, leaving the humans staring at a blank screen. Ambassador Hai-Jin Lim felt her heart pounding. Reality manipulation technology? They were talking about the RAI-LGUN dot on Kepler station. Dr. Dae-Ho Kim was recording every detail of the first official alien contact. His equipment had picked up the transmission before it reached Earth. But what worried him more were the other signals his sensors were detecting. The galaxy wasn't quiet anymore. Ships were moving in the dark spaces between stars. Lots of ships. Commander So-Young Park received new orders from Earth Command within hours. The UE's Horizon was to serve as humanity's representative vessel for the first meeting with an alien species. Her crew would include weapons specialist Tae-Min Lee and communications officer B. Ora Choi. Are we ready for this? Tae-Min asked during the mission briefing. Nobody's ready for this, So-Young replied. But we're going anyway. The meeting location was a neutral point in space, halfway between Earth and the edge of the solar system. When the Horizon arrived, they found a ship waiting for them. It was beautiful and strange, made of materials that seemed to bend light around them. Ambassador Keth Aller's ship was larger than any human vessel, but it gave off no threatening energy signatures. If anything, it seemed designed to look peaceful and welcoming. The first face-to-face meeting between humans and aliens took place in a specially built chamber aboard the alien ship. Ambassador Hai-Jin Lim led the human delegation, with Commander So-Young Park providing security. Keth Aller was even more impressive in person. The alien moved with a grace that suggested great age and wisdom. When he spoke, his voice was calm and patient. Your species has reached a critical point in its development, he said. The weapon you tested, what you call a railgun, manipulates the basic forces of space and time. This technology is the first step toward weapons that can destroy entire star systems. Hai-Jin tried to keep her voice steady. We had no idea the test would be detected across the galaxy. The galaxy operates under an ancient agreement called the Silent Accord, Keth Aller explained. All spacefaring species agree to limit their military development to prevent another catastrophic war. Your railgun technology crosses the line that has kept peace for millions of years. What line? Commander So-Young Park asked. The line between weapons that kill people and weapons that kill worlds, Keth Aller said simply. Long ago, a species called the Veltar developed similar technology. Their war nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. We cannot allow that to happen again. Back on Mars, Jin-Woo Han and his team had made an incredible discovery. The monitoring. Stations weren't just recording equipment, they were libraries. Inside the ancient structures were detailed records of human development, spanning thousands of generations. They've been watching us since we first discovered fire, Jin-Woo reported to Earth. Every major step in human technology has been recorded and analyzed. The implications were staggering. Humanity had never been alone. They had always been observed, studied, and apparently judged by beings with technology far beyond human understanding. Engineer Sang-Ho Yoon, who had helped build the Railgun, was studying the weapon's technical specifications when he made a disturbing discovery. The Railgun didn't just fire projectiles at high speed. It actually created small tears in spacetime to achieve its incredible velocity. "We're not just shooting metal," he told his team. "We're breaking the laws of physics." The revelation explained why the aliens were so concerned. Humanity had accidentally developed technology that could potentially unravel the fabric of reality itself. In the wrong hands, or with the wrong modifications, the Railgun could become something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. As the first day of contact with alien life came to an end, humanity faced a choice that would determine their future in the galaxy. They could submit to alien oversight and abandon their most advanced technology, or they could face the consequences of violating a treaty they never knew existed. The galaxy had gone quiet when humanity fired its first railgun, but now it was waking up, and humanity was about to learn just how big and dangerous their universe really was. The ultimatum came 3 days after first contact. Ambassador Kethalar delivered it personally to the United Earth Assembly, his tall figure standing before hundreds of human representatives. "You have 30 Earth days to make your choice," he said, his voice echoing through the assembly hall. "Destroy all Railgun technology and accept galactic oversight of your military development, or face containment protocols." Ambassador Hai-Jin Lim stood to respond. "What exactly do you mean by containment protocols?" "Your solar system will be isolated from the rest of the galaxy. No ships will be allowed to leave. No signals will be permitted to reach other worlds. Humanity will remain alone until your species either evolves beyond the need for such weapons or destroys itself trying to use them." The assembly erupted in angry voices. President Ji-Hoon Roo called for order, but the representatives were too shocked and frightened to listen. Humanity had just learned they weren't alone in the universe, and now they were being told they might be cut off from it forever. "How many species belong to this silent accord?" President Roo asked, when the noise finally died down. "Thousands," Kethala replied simply. "The galaxy is home to more life than your species can imagine. All of it united by the memory of what happens when reality-warping weapons are allowed to exist." Military advisor Dong-Min Kim stood up from his seat. "And if we refuse? If we choose to keep our technology and defend ourselves?" Kethalar's large dark eyes fixed on him. "Then you will face the combined military might of every spacefaring species in the galaxy. We have learned that it is better to stop one dangerous species than to watch the galaxy burn again." After the alien ambassador left, the human leadership gathered in emergency session. The room was tense with fear and anger. "We can't just give up our most advanced technology," Dong-Min argued. "If we destroy the railguns and accept their oversight, we'll never be equal partners in this galactic community. We'll always be the junior species that had to be controlled." President Roo looked tired. The weight of making decisions for all humanity was showing on his face. "What choice do we have? If thousands of alien species are united against us, we can't possibly win a war." "Maybe we don't have to fight a war," said Dr. Yunha Shin, the young scientist who had been studying the railgun technology. "I've been looking at the physics of what we've created, and I think there might be another option." Before she could explain, urgent reports started coming in from across human space. Captain Kyung-Soo Nam of the deep space vessel Pioneer was sending coded transmissions from the edge of the solar system. "Massive fleet movements detected in multiple star systems," his message said. "Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands, all heading toward our general region of space." The news got worse as more reports arrived. The galaxy's civilizations weren't just talking about containing humanity. They were already moving to do it. Species that had been hidden in the dark spaces between stars were revealing themselves, and all of them were armed. "How long do we have?" President Ru asked his military advisors. "Based on the movement patterns, the advanced scouts will reach the outer edge of our solar system in 2 weeks," General Mi Ran Kong reported. "The main fleet will arrive in 6 weeks. That's less than the 30 days they gave us to decide," Dong Min pointed out. "I think that was the point," Hai Jin said grimly. "They want us to feel pressured into making a quick decision." While the government debated, secret things were happening in the outer solar system. Colonel Wu Jin-beek had been given classified orders to continue the Railgun project in hidden facilities. He believed that humanity's only chance was to build more weapons before the aliens arrived. "If they want to see what human railguns can do, we'll show them," he told his team at the secret base on Sirius. "But we'll show them with a dozen weapons, not just one." Admiral Seok-jun Park supported the secret program from his position in Earth's Orbital Defense Command. "We can't let them dictate terms to us," he told his trusted officers. Humanity didn't claw its way to the stars just to bow down to the first aliens we meet. The hidden railgun construction was moving quickly. Engineer teams led by Sang Ho Yoon were working around the clock to build weapons platforms throughout the asteroid belt. Each one was more powerful than the original Thunder Strike prototype, but not everyone agreed with the secret military program. Communications officer Ha-Yoon Kim, working aboard the defense station Aegis, intercepted alien transmissions that made her blood run cold. "They're not planning to contain us," she reported to her commanding officer in an encrypted message. "They're planning to eliminate us completely." The intercepted communications revealed the horrible truth. Many of the alien species approaching Earth had already decided that humanity was too dangerous to be allowed to exist. The memory of the Veltar War was too strong, and no one wanted to risk another species developing reality-warping weapons. Containment was never a real option. Ha-Yoon realized as she decoded more messages. "They're coming here to destroy us." Meanwhile, Dr. Yoon Ha Shin was working frantically in her laboratory, trying to find an alternative to both surrender and war. Her study of the Railgun technology had revealed something amazing. The weapons didn't just manipulate space-time to fire projectiles. They could manipulate it in other ways too. "What if we're thinking about this all wrong?" she asked her research partner, Dr. Chung Ho Lee. "What if the technology isn't meant to be a weapon at all?" "What do you mean?" "Look at these equations," Yoon-ha said, pointing to her computer screen. "The same principles that let us fire projectiles at incredible speeds could be used to fold space itself. We could create permanent doorways between distant locations." Chung-ho studied the math. "You're talking about artificial wormholes." "Exactly. Instead of using this technology to destroy things, we could use it to connect them." The idea was revolutionary, but there wasn't much time to test it. The alien fleets were getting closer every day, and the secret military program was accelerating the crisis. Dr. Ri-Co, serving aboard the defense station Aegis, discovered that some alien species were already positioning agents within human colonies. Small ships had been infiltrating the outer settlements for weeks, preparing for coordinated strikes. "They're not waiting for the main fleet," she reported. "They're already here." The situation was spiraling out of control. Humanity faced enemies they couldn't defeat, allies they couldn't trust, and time that was running out. The galaxy had been watching them for 50,000 years, and now it was ready to judge whether they deserved to survive. In her laboratory, Dr. Yoon-ha Shin worked desperately to prove that humanity's greatest weapon could become their greatest gift to the galaxy. But first, they had to survive long enough to share it. Young physics prodigy, the Jin-O, made a breakthrough that changed everything. While studying the ancient monitoring stations on Mars, she discovered that the Veltar hadn't been destroyed by other species. They had destroyed themselves. Their reality-warping weapons had torn holes in space-time that couldn't be repaired. The galaxy isn't afraid of us, she realized. They're afraid of what our technology might do to the universe itself. The truth was more terrifying and more hopeful than anyone had imagined. Humanity stood at the same crossroads that had destroyed the Veltar millions of years ago. They could choose to use their power to build bridges instead of weapons, to connect instead of destroy. But first, they had to convince a galaxy full of terrified aliens that they were worthy of that chance. The truth about the ancient war came from the most unexpected place. Historian Sun Mi Jiang had been studying the data from the monitoring stations on Mars when she found something that changed everything humanity thought they knew about the galaxy. Veltar weren't defeated by other species, she announced to the emergency council meeting. They were destroyed by their own weapons. President Ji-Hoon Ryu leaned forward in his chair. What do you mean? Sun Mi pulled up images on the main screen. Pictures of dead star systems where nothing lived anymore. The Veltar War lasted for 3,000 years. But it didn't end with one side winning. It ended when their reality-warping weapons tore holes in space-time that couldn't be fixed. The images were horrifying. Entire sectors of space where the laws of physics didn't work properly anymore. Planets that existed in multiple dimensions at once. Stars that burned backwards through time. The Veltar created weapons so powerful they broke the universe itself, Sun Mi continued. When they tried to use them against their enemies, the weapons turned on them. Whole civilizations were erased from existence, including the Veltar themselves. Dr. Chong-Ho Lee, who had been studying the quantum signatures left by the ancient weapons, added his own findings. The physics are identical to our Railgun technology. The mathematical patterns are exactly the same. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was following the exact same path that had led to the destruction of the most advanced species in galactic history. So the other aliens aren't just afraid of us, Ambassador Hai Jin Lim said quietly. They're afraid we'll accidentally destroy the universe. Or do it on purpose, added General Mi Ran Kong grimly. While the government struggled with this revelation, the secret military program was accelerating. Colonel Wu Jin Beek had successfully built 3 more railgun platforms in hidden asteroid bases. Each one was more powerful than the original Thunderstrike. The aliens think they can intimidate us with their fleets, he told his engineering teams. Let's show them what happens when humans get pushed too far. Admiral Seok Jun Park watched the alien fleet movements from Earth's Orbital Defense Command. Hundreds of ships from dozens of different species were converging on the solar system. Some were massive vessels that could carry entire armies. Others were small and fast, designed for precision strikes. They're not coming to negotiate, he told Colonel Beek in a secure transmission. They're coming to eliminate us before we can become another Veltar. The hidden railgun program reached a critical point when engineer Sang Ho Yoon finished installing the weapons on the asteroid. Vesta, the new railgun, was 3 times more powerful than the original prototype and could fire continuously for hours. We're ready to test the new system, he reported to Colonel Beek. Do it, Beek ordered. If the aliens want to see what human weapons can do, we'll give them a demonstration they won't forget. The test firing of the Vesta railgun was detected across the galaxy within minutes. The weapon's reality warping effects were so strong they created visible distortions in space that could be seen from light years away. Ambassador Keth Aller's response was immediate and furious. His ship appeared at the edge of the solar system within hours, broadcasting on all frequencies. You have violated our agreement, his voice echoed across human space. The construction of additional reality warping weapons cannot be allowed. Prepare for immediate containment. But Kethaler wasn't the only alien leader who reacted to the weapons test. Fleet Commander Zethkol of the militant Railgun faction saw the new Railgun firing as proof that humans could never be trusted. They are already becoming another Veltar, he broadcast to the approaching alien fleets. We must act now before they develop weapons powerful enough to threaten the entire galaxy. The galaxy's response was swift and overwhelming. Ship after ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edges of the solar system. Humanity found itself surrounded by the largest military force in galactic history. Communications Officer Ha-Yun Kim monitored the alien transmissions from her post aboard the Aegis Defense Station. What she heard made her realize that the situation had moved far beyond negotiation. They're not talking about containment anymore, she reported to Earth Command. Multiple species are calling for immediate military action. They want to destroy our entire civilization before we can threaten them. The alien fleets began moving into attack positions. Some took positions around Earth's outer planets, while others moved to block any escape routes from the solar system. Humanity was trapped. Dr. Yunha Shin worked desperately in her laboratory as the alien fleets closed in. Her research into peaceful uses for railgun technology had shown promising results, but she needed more time to prove her theories. We can create stable wormholes, she told her research partner, Dr. Shang-Ho Lee. Instead of using the technology to destroy, we can use it to connect distant parts of the galaxy instantly. But will the aliens believe us? Chang-Ho asked. They're too afraid to listen to reason. We have to try. It's our only chance. Meanwhile, Captain Kyung-Soo Nam and his crew aboard the Pioneer were conducting dangerous reconnaissance missions near the alien fleets. What they discovered was both amazing and terrifying. There are species out there we never knew existed, he reported to Earth. Some of them have technology that makes our railguns look like toys, but they're all united by fear of what we might become. The fear was justified. Yuri SEO, monitoring communications from the Aegis station, intercepted messages that revealed the true scope of the ancient Veltar disaster. The reality-warping weapons hadn't just destroyed civilizations, they had created permanent scars in the fabric of space and time that were still spreading after millions of years. The damage is getting worse, she reported. The holes the Veltar tore in space-time are still growing, still consuming matter and energy. Entire star systems are being pulled into dimensional tiers that lead nowhere. The revelation explained why the galaxy's species were so united in their fear. The Veltar War wasn't ancient history. It was an ongoing disaster that threatened to consume everything. As the alien fleets moved closer to Earth, President Ji-Hoon-Roo faced the hardest decision in human history. He could order the secret railgun platforms to fire, starting a war that humanity couldn't win. He could surrender completely, accepting alien control over human development. Or he could gamble everything on Dr. Yunha Shin's untested theory about peaceful uses for their dangerous technology. How certain are you that this will work? He asked Yunha during an emergency video conference. I'm not certain at all, she admitted. But I'm certain that fighting will only prove their fears about us are correct. The decision was made more urgent when long-range sensors detected the alien fleets beginning their final approach. Some species were calling for immediate strikes against Earth's major cities to prevent humanity from developing more advanced weapons. Colonel Wu Jin-beek received orders to prepare all railgun platforms for combat. If they want a war, we'll give them one, he told his crews. Humanity has never backed down from a fight, but others disagreed. Ambassador Hai-Jin Lim made a desperate proposal to the United Earth Assembly. What if we demonstrate the peaceful potential of our technology instead of its destructive power? She suggested. What if we show them we can be trusted with reality warping? Weapons because we choose not to use them as weapons at all? The debate raged as alien ships took positions around every human world. Time was running out, and the choice between war and peace would determine not just humanity's fate, but possibly the fate of the entire galaxy. Dr. Yoon-Ha Shin made one final calculation as the enemy fleets closed in. Her numbers showed that creating artificial wormholes was possible, but it would require using every railgun platform humanity had built. There would be no weapons left for defense if her plan failed. It's all or nothing, she told President Ru. We either trust in the power of connection over destruction, or we prepare to fight a war we cannot win. The galaxy waited to see what choice humanity would make. President Ji-Hoon Ryu stood before the United Earth Assembly with the weight of humanity's future on his shoulders. Outside, alien fleets surrounded every human world, waiting for his decision. In hidden asteroid bases, Colonel Woo-Jin Beeks. Railgun platforms powered up for what might be humanity's last battle. We have a choice, the president said to the packed assembly hall. We can fight a war we cannot win, or we can show the galaxy something they have never seen before. Dr. Yoon-Ha Shin stepped forward with her proposal. Her research team had worked without sleep for days, preparing for this moment. We can use our railgun technology to create the first stable artificial wormhole in galactic history. Instead of destroying, we can connect. Instead of war, we can offer the gift of instant travel across the galaxy. The assembly erupted in worried voices. Ambassador Hai-Jin Lim called for order. Dr. Shin, are you certain this will work? The math is solid, Yoon-Ha replied. But we'll need to use every railgun platform we've built. If it fails, we'll have no weapons left to defend ourselves. Military advisor Dong-Min Kim stood up angrily. This is madness. We're going to disable our only defense based on an untested theory? Our weapons won't save us anyway, President Ru said quietly. There are thousands of alien ships out there. We need to try something different. The vote was close, but hope won over fear. Humanity would gamble everything on connection instead of destruction. The plan required perfect coordination across the solar system. Captain Kung Soo Nam and his crew aboard the Pioneer would operate the primary railgun array on the moon. Dr. Yoon-Ha Shin would control the calculations from Earth. Engineer Sang-Ho Yoon and physicist So-Ra Choi would manage the hidden platforms in the asteroid belt. Remember, Yoon-Ha broadcast to all the teams, we're not firing projectiles. We're tearing open space-time itself to create a permanent bridge between our solar system and the Andromeda observation post. The alien fleets detected the human preparations. Immediately, Fleet Commander Zeth Cole of the militant Rordan faction decided to act before humanity could complete their plan. They are preparing to use their reality-warping weapons, he broadcast to his ships. All vessels begin attack runs on human positions. The first alien attack came without warning. Rordan ships launched energy weapons at the hidden railgun. Platform on Ceres. Colonel Woo-Jin Beek's facility was destroyed in seconds, along with everyone inside. They're not waiting for us to finish, Commander So-Young Park reported from the UES horizon. Multiple alien species are breaking formation and attacking. President Ru made the hardest decision of his life. All stations, begin the wormhole. Creation sequence immediately. We're out of time. The railgun platforms across the solar system activated simultaneously. But instead of firing projectiles at alien ships, they focused their reality-warping energy on a single point in space between Earth and Mars. The effect was visible across the galaxy. Space itself began to twist and fold as the artificial wormhole took shape. Energy readings spiked beyond anything ever recorded as humanity tore open the fabric of reality. Some alien commanders panicked. They're creating another Veltar disaster. One broadcast. All ships target their weapon platforms before they destroy the solar system. But Ambassador Kethaler, watching from his peacekeeping vessel, saw something different. The energy patterns weren't chaotic like Veltar weapons. They were controlled, precise, and carefully shaped. "Wait," he broadcast to all ships. "They're not making a weapon. They're making a doorway." The artificial wormhole stabilized with a flash of light that could be seen from every planet in the solar system. Where empty space had been moments before, there was now a perfect circle of twisted spacetime, leading to a point 30,000 light years away. Dr. Yoon Ha Shin's voice echoed across all frequencies. "This is humanity's gift to the galaxy. Instant travel between any 2 points in space. We call it a gateway driver, and we offer to share this technology freely with all species." The alien fleets stopped their attack runs, stunned by what they were seeing. Captain Kyung-Soo Nam flew the Pioneer through the wormhole to demonstrate its safety. The journey that would normally take decades was completed in seconds. "The Andromeda observation post is receiving our signal," Communications Officer Bo Ra Choi reported. "The wormhole is stable and completely safe for travel." But not all alien species were convinced. Admiral Zethkal continued his attack, believing that any reality warping technology was too dangerous to exist. His ships launched a full assault on Earth's orbital stations. Commander So Young Park and weapons specialist Tae Min Lee found themselves in the middle of the first battle between humans and aliens. But instead of using railguns as weapons, they used them defensively, creating spatial distortions that redirected enemy fire harmlessly into empty space. "We're not trying to hurt you," So Young broadcast to the attacking ships. "We're trying to show you that this technology can serve life instead of destroying it." The turning point came when Dr. Chung-Ho Lee used the wormhole network to evacuate civilians from both human and alien worlds that were under threat from the battle. In minutes, he moved thousands of people to safety across impossible distances. Even Admiral Zethkal stopped firing when he saw human ships rescuing his own people from a damaged Railgun vessel. The reality warping technology that he feared would destroy the galaxy was being used to save lives. Ambassador Cathaler's ship moved slowly toward Earth, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Cease all hostile actions. The humans have demonstrated something we thought impossible: peaceful use of reality warping technology." The battle ended as quickly as it had begun. Alien fleets that had come to destroy humanity found themselves witnesses to the galaxy's first artificial wormhole network. Species that had been enemies for millions of years could now travel between their worlds in minutes instead of centuries. "How do we know you won't use this technology to build weapons later?" Kethaler asked during the peace negotiations. President Rue looked out at the artificial wormhole, where ships from dozens of species were already using humanity's gift to explore new worlds. "Because weapons divide us, but connections unite us. Which future do you think we'd rather build?" The Silent Accord was officially ended 6 months later, replaced by the new Galactic Compact. Humanity became founding members of the new alliance, with their gateway driver technology forming the foundation for unprecedented cooperation between species. Dr. Dae-Ho Kim stood in the observation deck of Unity Station, the first joint human-alien research facility. Through the windows, he could see ships from 1,000 different worlds, traveling instantly between star systems through the wormhole network. The galaxy had gone quiet when humanity fired its first railgun, but now it was busier than ever. The silence of fear had been replaced by the noise of cooperation, exploration, and friendship. "You know," Dr. Chung-Ho Lee said, joining Dae-Ho at the window, "I think this is what the universe was always meant to become." Dae-Ho smiled, watching an alien research vessel disappear through a wormhole bound for a distant galaxy. A place where distance doesn't matter, where different species can work together, where connection is stronger than conflict, the gateway. Driver Network continued to grow, linking more worlds every day. Humanity's gift to the galaxy had become the foundation for a golden age of discovery and unity. The species that had once feared reality-warping technology now celebrated it as the key to bringing the universe together, and in the deep monitoring stations scattered across the galaxy, ancient computers updated their records one final time. The species called humanity had passed the test that destroyed the Veltar. They had chosen to build bridges instead of weapons, to connect instead of conquer. The galaxy would never be quiet again, and that was exactly as it should be.